With the Samsung Galaxy Z Trifold having just dropped a few days ago, what is going on with the Galaxy S26 lineup? Well, get that popcorn ready, and here's everything we know so far about the entire S26 lineup. Well, initially it was rumored that Samsung may have renamed the S26 to S26 Pro, and perhaps even cancel the S26 Edge or have it replace the S26 Plus. It turns out that Samsung may have changed their minds again, as the most recent reports state that Samsung would be sticking with the same lineup as in the past few years. That means Galaxy S26, S26 Plus, and of course, the S26 Ultra. There's no mention of a potential S26 Edge being launched at the same time, so we still don't know whether it's actually cancelled or not. But since the S25 Edge was released only in May this year, the S26 Edge could be coming at a later date. And according to some recent leaks, Samsung is actually working on a project called More Slim. We don't know for sure whether this is the S26 Edge, but keep in mind that the S25 Edge project was called Slim, so it could be the case that this is the S26 Edge, and that it hasn't been cancelled yet, despite multiple reports stating that it has. Now, let's talk about what's actually changing with the S26 lineup. First, we have the displays. Also, if you like the wallpapers you're seeing in our concepts here, they're all from our app Wallpapers. Link down below. Okay, so the S26 Ultra is said to keep the same 6.9-inch display size of the S25 Ultra, while the S26 Plus is also set to keep the same size as last year at 6.7 inches. So the only model that may be getting a larger display is the regular S26, going from 6.2 to 6.27 inches, which Samsung may market as 6.3. Now, the way Samsung could achieve this is by shrinking the bezels even further while keeping the phone roughly the same size. A big upgrade that we may be seeing on the S26 Ultra, however, is a new generation of OLED displays called M14 AMOLED. And this could be a brighter, more energy efficient, and thinner display panel. In fact, Vivo actually advertised that they could be using the new M14 AMOLED display on their upcoming smartphones, such as the iQOO O15, with features such as a maximum sustained brightness of 2600 nits, a 44% reduction in power consumption, and a higher refresh rate of 144 Hz. And while this sounds quite exciting, this new display may be exclusive to the Ultra only, with the Plus, and the still possible S26 Edge, and the regular S26 using the M13 generation panel just like last year. But back to the S26 Ultra. This display may adopt a new color filter on encapsulation technology to further reduce its thickness and then boost the brightness even further. And aside from this, Ice Universe mentioned on X that the Galaxy S26 may get a new smart privacy screen called the Flex Magic Pixel. This feature would limit the ability for people to look at your screen from the side to protect your privacy, just like a privacy screen protector would, but this would be part of the display itself without affecting the quality of the panel and without you needing to actually buy a separate privacy screen protector. So that's pretty cool, but what about the design? Is anything changing here? Well, that is set to remain largely unchanged, aside from Samsung maybe adding a camera plateau to the camera modules themselves, matching the design that we already have on the Galaxy Z Fold 7. And of course, the S26 Edge design that got leaked before the cancellation reports, that one has an actual camera plateau. Ice Universe also believes that the Ultra may be getting thinner, becoming a sub-8mm phone, which I do quite like. This is the opposite of what Apple has been doing by making their Pro phones thicker and thicker every single year. The leaker also mentioned that the screen and the overall design of the phone may be getting rounder and more iPhone-like. Just take a look at the rounded corners of the screen here. And again, I personally really like this as it does make the phone more comfortable to use. However, the overall reduction in thickness may have an impact on the S Pen. You see, back in June, leaker Panda Flash Pro suggested that Samsung may be dropping the S Pen digitizer, which is the component that enables pressure sensitivity and hover functions, in order to achieve that sub-8mm form factor. And Samsung may also introduce support for Qi 2 magnetic wireless charging, but more on that later. However, the leaker later reported that Samsung wasn't happy with some early tests, which could be a positive sign that the S Pen will be sticking around, at least for now. But with the Z Fold 7 dropping support for the S Pen in order to achieve that crazy thinness, I think it's only a matter of time until the Ultra drops it too. So now let's talk about some new features set to be coming to the S26 lineup. But before that, a quick shout out to Saley for sponsoring this video with their super easy eSIM app. that allows you to access data from over 200 destinations. I've been on 36 flights this year alone, and I've got even more coming, so Saily has actually been a lifesaver for me. I've been able to talk to my team abroad, upload videos, and even sit back and watch YouTube on the go. So if you've got any trips planned this winter, give Saily a go. It's super affordable, it saves you data with its built-in ad blocker, and it works across both iOS and Android. To go even further, there's Saily Ultra, where you can also enjoy travel perks like airport lounge access, fast track services, and even advanced online security. So use the link below with the coupon code ZONEOFTECH to get a 15% discount on your first data plan. Okay, now back to the features. The one that I'm excited for the most, especially now that Google has also introduced their version, is magnetic Qi 2 charging, aka MagSafe, aka Pixel Snap. Although apparently Samsung may need to remove reverse wireless charging in order to get this new magnetic charging to work. This is what Google had to do with their Pixel 10 lineup as well, so it does seem plausible. I don't really use reverse wireless charging myself, but Samsung did have the best implementation of it, in my opinion, as you were able to charge a Galaxy Watch on the back of it too, not just earbuds like it's usually the case. So that going away would be an unfortunate downgrade. Aside from this, we could also see One UI 8.5 making its debut alongside Android 16 on the new S26 series. And I'm pretty certain that alongside this, we'll also see a bunch of new AI features and perhaps also a new alternative to Google's Gemini. And Samsung is apparently in talks of investing in Perplexity AI. And if the deal goes through, we may see it come to the new S26 lineup. And since Samsung has already confirmed that Gemini won't be the only AI assistant on their upcoming smartphones, this could be another hint at this. But what about the battery life? Well, we don't have any good news, unfortunately. The S25 Ultra is said to keep the same 5,000 mAh battery that they've actually been using ever since the S20 Ultra. Yeah, that's pretty insane. And same goes for the S26 Plus, 49 million powers, just like last year. So yeah, we've got no signs of silicon carbon tech yet. The S26 Edge, if it does happen, is rumored to see a small bump, going from 3,900 to 4,300. And then the regular S26 may see an even smaller bump, going from 4,000 to 4,300. So the only actual battery upgrade that we may be getting this year is 60 watts of fast charging, up from 45 on the Ultra, something that is well overdue. And as mentioned, we may also get faster Qi 2 wireless charging, going up from 15 watts on all the models to 25 on the Ultra and 20 on the S26 and S26 Plus. Hopefully the S26 Edge and the base S26 will also get faster wired charging, because as of today, the S25 Edge and the standard S25 have literally the slowest charging out of any flagship out there at just 25 watts. Like, even Apple moved up to 35 watts with the iPhone 17 lineup. However, when it comes to performance, we should be seeing some pretty big upgrades. The new S26 lineup is very likely to be using Qualcomm's new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chip that was announced back in September, and I was actually at the launch event in Hawaii, which was really cool and a lot of fun. According to benchmarks ran on the reference Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 devices, we should be seeing an improvement of around 20% in single core, 17% in multi-core, and 23% in graphics. But again, those are only reference devices with some basic cooling or no cooling whatsoever. If Samsung opts for a vapor cooling chamber again this year, and also for a custom 4 Galaxy version of the new Snapdragon chip, the gains would be even higher than that. So yeah, do make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, because I'll definitely be putting that to the test. As for the S26 and the S26 Plus, Samsung may opt for their own in-house Exynos chip, but no certain leaks have surfaced yet. Now, onto the big one, the cameras. The first big camera leak suggests that the base S26 will once again feature a 50 megapixel main camera. However, this time around, it would be a brand new larger sensor designed to capture more light, an overdue upgrade considering that we haven't had a new main sensor since the S22. As for the S26 Ultra, we may see the same 200 megapixel sensor, although with an f1.4 aperture up from the f1.7 that we have now, which would allow for more light to hit the sensor. Also, that 3x telephoto on the entire lineup is set to remain the same at 10 megapixels, also with a super tiny 1/3.94 inch sensor. although the sensor itself will apparently be a brand new sensor according to IC Universe on X. This actually means that that 3x sensor size will be smaller than on the current S25 Ultra, which was 1/3.52 inches. So yeah, that's very disappointing. Aside from this, we may also see the return of that variable aperture seen on the S9 and the S10, alongside a new feature to compete with Apple's ProRes. According to Samiguru, this new codec may be called APV, or Advanced Professional Video, and it could come to the entire S26 lineup. This could be a big step forward in delivering near lossless video recording with even more efficient file sizes. The S26 series also rumored to support log video recording with built-in LUT profiles. That means that you'll be able to capture flat footage like now, but then also grade it in real time. There's also said to be some improvements to Horizon Log for steadier motion shots, improved document scanning, finer controls for motion photos, and native external drive support over USB-C. All in all, I'm quite disappointed when it comes to the camera here, especially since all the Chinese manufacturers are light years ahead of Samsung, Apple, and also Google in terms of the camera hardware. So I feel like Samsung is just doing the bare minimum here, like Apple and like Google, just because they know they'll get sales regardless. As for the possibly not cancelled S26 Edge, this is rumored to keep the same main camera for another year while upgrading the ultra-wide from 12 megapixels to 50, which would be a welcome upgrade, as the ultra-wide on the S25 Edge was really soft and quite noisy. So when should we expect to see the S26 lineup? Well, based on past years, we should see them in either late January or early February 2026. As for the pricing, we don't really have any leaks, so I'm hoping that Samsung will be keeping the same prices as last year. $799 for the S26, $999 for the S26 Plus, and then $1099 for the Edge, unless Samsung reduces it to $999 to match Apple's new Air, and of course $1299 for the Ultra. I'm also hoping that Samsung will up the storage to 256 as opposed to 128 on the S25, just like Apple has done recently. So that's everything we know so far about the S26 lineup. Overall, I'm just disappointed that, there's not many changes. It's the same thing again for like what, the 4th year in a row? Yeah, let me know down below, what do you guys think about all of this? We'll definitely have some more videos once there's more info, so do subscribe for those. Check out our app wallpapers for some awesome designs. And as always, I'm Daniel, this is Enough Tech. I'll see you guys in the next one. So Enough Tech, signing out. Cheers.